Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to learn about how to print the full pyramid pattern triangle or hill pattern triangle. So this is the hill pattern triangle. So if you have not watched the previous videos, so please do watch my videos. And here in the given pattern, so first of all we have to print the spaces here. After that we can print the star, right? So here also we have to first print the spaces and then we have to print the stars. So normally in the half pyramid pattern, that is the left sided half pyramid pattern, so the printing will start from the starting of the console, right? But here the stars are being printed after leaving the spaces. Okay, and here if you observe, in each row, so we are having different stars. So normally in one row we are having one star, then second row 2 stars, and third row 3 stars, like that it will be in the decrementing or incrementing fashion. But here, so here in the first row we are having only 1 star, in the second row 3 stars, and third row 5 stars. If you are taking fourth row means 7 stars, 9 stars, and so on. So here if you observe, the number of stars in each and every row are incrementing by 2. Okay, so that means they're having odd number of stars. Okay, so this is the odd number of stars being printed in the given pattern. Okay, so now let us see how the outer loop is going to execute, the space loop is going to execute, and the inner loop, that is the number of stars being printed in the each and every row. So outer loop denotes the rows, and the space loop denotes the number of spaces in each row, and the inner loop denotes the stars in the particular row. So in the first run, that is the first row. So in the first row we are going to have, so in the first row, second row, third row. So in the first run, so we are going to print 2 spaces, right? 2 spaces are being printed here. So 2 spaces, and it is having, inner loop is going to print only 1 star. Okay, so inner loop denotes the stars. And the second row, okay, in the second run of the outer loop, so outer loop, that is I equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus, that is the outer loop. Okay, so this is the outer loop. It prints the rows in the given matrix. So in the second run it is going to print the 1 space and 3 stars, right? 3 stars will be printed. And in the third row, that is in the third run, so it is going to print 0 spaces and 5 stars will be printed. Okay, so like this pattern will be printed. And here, so we have to divide this, the number of columns also, right? 1 2 3 4 5. So for 3 rows we are having 5 columns. Okay, and here we are going to draw the spaces. So based on the given pattern, how we are going to draw the spaces, that we will check here. Okay, so here the outer loop, that is for I equals to 1, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus, so it denotes the rows, it denotes the printing of rows. So normally in the, for the any pattern, so for each row we are going to print the columns. Okay, so after that one, so in the each row we are going to, so if you consider this as a row, so we are going to print the columns. Okay, so the row is constructed by the I, and the columns are being partitioned here based on the egg. Okay, so that's why the I denotes rows and J denotes columns here. For J equals to 1, J less than or equals to n minus I, J plus plus. So this code is for printing the stars, and so K equals to 1, so 2 into I minus 1, K plus plus. So this code is for denoting the stars. Okay, so how this code will come here? So these two are to print the spaces and stars in the particular row. So I already told you that I denotes the rows and J and K print the columns here. Okay, so if you observe the given pattern, okay, so for the spaces, so in the spaces will start in the first row first column and first row second column. Okay, so if you observe the in the first row we are having, so in the first row we are having two spaces and one star. Okay, second row we are having one space and three stars, and third row we are having zero space and five stars. Okay, so we can clearly see here that if we subtract 3 minus 1, okay, so 3 minus 1 denotes 2, that means two spaces are here. Okay, and if you are going to consider the row number here, so 3 minus 2, so if you are going to consider the particular row number, then we will get the one space, right? So we are taking the number of rows as 3, right? So number of rows as 3 we are taking, and to denote the spaces here, so we have to subtract the index number of the row. So 3 minus 1, so that gives 2. So we are having two spaces in the first row, and similarly in second row we are having only one space. Okay, so that's why we're going to remove from the number of rows we're going to remove the second row. So 3 minus 2, that is the index of the second row, so that is 1. So it is going to give only one space. And similarly if you are going to take 3 minus 3, so we're having 0 spaces in the third row, right? So here the I value denotes the number of rows. Okay, so I'm taking the n number of rows as 3. So now when the control passed the inner loop, that is j equals to 1 and 1 less than or equals to n minus I. So 1 less than or equals to n, that is the number of rows minus the index number of the row. Okay, so 3 minus 1 is 2. So 1 less than or equals to 2 is true. So it is going to execute the space loop twice and it will print two spaces here. Okay, so next it is going to the control will pass to the next for loop. For k equals to 1, k less than or equals to 2 into I minus 1. Okay, so before going to this one, so if you observe the pattern triangle here, okay, so the inner loop for the stars are incrementing by 2, right? The inner loop is incrementing by 2. Okay, so here 2 into 1 minus 1, that is 2, right? So similarly 2 into 2 minus 1, so 4 minus 1 is 3, right? So 3 will be displayed. Similarly, so 5 to 7, if you have taken the second row, so plus 2, right? So 2 into I, so in the third iteration the I value becomes 3, so 2 into 3 minus 1, that is 5. So 6 minus 1 is 5. Okay, so because here for each and every iteration the number of stars in the particular row are increasing by 2. Okay, so to represent that one, we are taking 2 into I minus 1. Okay, so k equals to 1, k less than or equals to 2 into I minus 1. So 1 less than or equals to 2 into I value is 1. So 2 into 1 minus 1, that is 1, and it will print only one star in the first row. So it comes to the new line, that is the second row. And now the I value gets incremented here. So I value is now 2. Okay, so 2 less than or equals to 3, which is true, and the control comes to the J loop. Okay, in the space loop, so 1 less than or equals to n minus I. So 3 minus 2, right? So I value is 2 now. So 3 minus 2 is 1, right? So 3 minus 2 is 1. So it is going to print one space here. Okay, and after that one the control pass to the next one. So k equals to 1 and k less than or equals to 2 into 2 minus 1, right? I value is 2 now, right? So 2 into 2 minus 1. For 4 minus 1 is 3. So it is going to print the stars thrice in the second loop, in the second run. Okay. So after that, so the control pass to the new line. Okay, that is the third row. So I value will decrement, sorry, I value will increment to 3 here, and now j equals to 1 and j less than or equals to n minus I. So 1 less than or equals to n minus I, that is 3 minus 3, which is 0. The condition fails here and the control goes to the printing of stars. So now k equals to 1 and k less than or equals to 2 into I minus 1. So that is 1 less than or equals to 2 into I. So 2 into I minus 1. So I value is 3 now. 3 minus 1. So 6 minus 1, that is 5. So 1 less than or equals to is 5 is true, and the stars will get printed 5 times. Okay, because here less than or equals to is given. Okay, so 5 times the star will print, and the control goes to the again I. So here the condition fails because I becomes 4 and the number of rows are 3. So which is false, and the control comes out of the loop. So this is how we are going to print the star pattern in the format of hill. So next, coming to this pattern, the reverse of the hill pattern. So this is the reverse of the hill pattern. So it is similar to the previous one, but we are going to take the reverse format here. Okay, so we are going to simply change the number of rows, because here the only difference here is the rows are decrementing after the each and every row. The number of rows are decrementing by 2. So in the previous video, so here the number of rows are incrementing by 2, but here the number of rows are decrementing by 2, and in each row the stars will be in the format of the odd number of stars will be printed. Okay, and here also we are going to count the spaces. So first, so after printing the spaces, the stars will get printed, and here the rows are decrementing in each and every line. So now let us see how the execution of this star, reverse of the hill pattern works. So in the outer loop, that is the execution of the row in the first run that is in the first row. So we are having 0 spaces and the number of stars in the inner loop is 5, right? So similarly in the second run we are having 1 space and 3 stars, and the third run, that is in the third row, we are having 2 spaces and 1 star, right? So that is, so here in the inner loop the number of stars are decrementing by 2. Okay, and the spaces are increasing here, increasing by 1 in each and every row. So for I equals to n, I greater than or equals to 1, I minus 1. So this denotes the number of rows being printed in the decreasing format, right? So I'm taking n value as 3. Okay, so n value as 3 and j equals to 1. So 1 less than or equals to n minus I, it is 2. So now so here I value is 3, right? Initially the I value is 3 because n is number of rows are 3. So 3 greater than or equals to 1, which is true. So now the control force to the next for loop. So j equals to 1 and 1 less than or equals to 3 minus, so 3 minus 3, that is 0. So which is false and the condition will fail here. So control goes to the next for loop. For k equals to 1, k less than or equals to 2 into I minus 1. That is 1 less than or equals to 2 into I. So I value is 3. So 2 into 3 minus 1, that is 5. 1 less than or equals to 5. So which is true, and the star will print 5 times here in the first row. Okay. So now in the second iteration, so I value get decremented here. Okay. So I value gets decremented by 1. So I value will become 2 now. Okay. So I value is 2 and j equals to 1, j less than or equals to n minus I. So 1 less than or equals to n minus I, that is 3 minus 2, which is 1. So 1 less than or equals to 1 is true. So it is going to print only one space here in the second row. And then the control will pass to the next for loop. So k equals to 1, k less than or equals to 2 into I minus 1. It denotes the columns here. So where to print the stars. So 1 less than or equals to 2 into 2 minus 1, that is 3. Right? 4 minus 1 is 3. So 1 less than or equals to 3. That means we can print 3 stars in the second row. Okay. So after printing 3 stars in the second row, the control passes to the next line. Okay. So now I value is 1. So j equals to 1. So 1 less than or equals to n minus I, that is 3 minus 1, 2. So now 2 spaces will be printed here in the last row. And after that one, so in the last for loop will be executed. So k equals to 1 and 1 less than or equals to 2 into 1 minus 1. So which is 2 minus 1 is 1. So 1 less than or equals to 1. So it will print only 1 star here. Okay. So after that one, the control comes out of the for loop. Okay. So this is how we are going to execute the reverse of the hill pattern. And so now let us execute the full pyramid triangle here. So here we have initialized the variables n, I, j and k. Okay, enter the number of lines. So you can enter the number of rows you want to print in the format of full pyramid triangle. And the first for loop represents the outer loop, and the second for loop represents the printing of spaces, and third for loop for the printing of stars. So now let us execute this program. So it will ask the number of rows you want to print. I am giving 10 rows. So it will print the full pyramid triangle in the format of 10 rows. Okay. Similarly, you can print the reverse of the full pyramid triangle. Okay. So one thing is, so in this reverse full pyramid triangle, the stars will be the same pyramid will be printed in the reverse format. Okay. So enter the number of lines. I'm entering the 10 as the number of rows. So here, if you observe, the pyramid is printed in the reverse format. Okay, why? Because the code will be same for the stars and for the printing of stars and the spaces. But here, so we are initializing the I value to n. That means starting from the, so the first row is having the uh, so so we are having the I equals to n. That means, so the number of rows as 10. So it is going to print the value from 10 to 1. Okay, that is in the decrementing way. The stars will be printed here. Okay, this is about the printing of the full pyramid triangle and the reverse of the full pyramid triangle. Thanks for watching my video. Please do like.